The biggest challenge for people who experience some significant level of success is to find a way to keep working, growing, and inventing out of sheer joy and love for the game, and not out of stress, fear, desperation, or trauma, which is what launched their business or their career in the first place. Because working out of negative emotions and external pressures sometimes can only get you so far, and in the long term, it often backfires. I drew this pattern right here that I've seen repeated dozens and dozens of times at this point from successful people that I personally know. I've also gone through this cycle as well. Maybe you have too. Basically, a lot of people start a business or a new career or develop some new skill because of some negative situation they find themselves in. Maybe they are short on money, or they are in debt, or maybe they have a job that they hate and they want some freedom and to be better off, or maybe they just want to prove something to someone. So their source of motivation to work is a negative external situation and the negative emotions that go along with it. The problem is that as you start working and then you start having some results, eventually you reach a point where all those external problems that you had at the beginning now start to get solved. Maybe now you're able to quit your job because you're making enough money on your own. You pay off your debt. You're not stressing about money anymore. Maybe you're able to travel and do all those cool things that you always dreamed of. And maybe you prove to others what you're capable of, and now they respect you a little bit more. But then once you've done all of that, what I've seen that happens to like 80 or 90% of people sooner or later is that they start to lose their motivation. They don't feel like working anymore because the only thing that was pushing them to work up until now were all those problems that they had at the beginning, but now they're fixed. So it can be really, really hard to force yourself to work and to keep creating and inventing. And by the way, this point right here looks different for everybody, but you don't need $10 million to experience what I'm describing. I've seen people who save up like 100K, sometimes even less, and they already go through this whole cycle. Now, when you find yourself in this situation, you have two options. And pay attention to this because it took me years to figure out what I'm explaining in this video and to understand it deeply. This is very important. So you have two options. You can either transition into working out of sheer joy and love for the game, which I'm going to talk about in a sec, or you can try to reignite stress, fear, desperation, trauma to keep on working. Like, you can double down on this cycle. I see some people online talk about this, like they burn bridges, they take massive bets just to put pressure on themselves. But from my own personal experience and from what I have seen by befriending people who are worth 7, 8, and even 9 figures, when you double down on negative emotions, the results are short-lived. There's a lot of ups and downs, both in how you feel and in your performance. And in the long run, it often makes people crash and burn, self-sabotage, destroy their careers, become depressed, all that stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, negative emotions can make you financially free and they can help you build the foundation of your business or your career. They are a really good fuel to get started, but in my opinion, they're not great to get you to the end of the race. Negative emotions, they're really good for accelerating, but they're not good for maintaining a solid and stable cruising speed. So the more optimal path from what I have seen is this thing right here. This is what happens when you enjoy the game for the sake of it. You're playing because you love to play, not because you love winning or you hate losing. You're playing because you love the game and you want to learn both about the game and about yourself, to learn what you're capable of, to explore your creativity, your ideas, your potential, and to find out what you can do. You're pushing yourself to the limit because it's fun, and you're just there in the present moment playing. There is a short clip that I want to show you of Kobe Bryant perfectly explaining this, and I want to show this to you because maybe you're watching me and listening to me and you're thinking like, who the hell is this guy? What does he know? Well, if you don't trust me, then listen to this from Kobe Bryant himself.
I played to learn something, right? Because I think if you play with a fear of failure, or you play with the will to win, or that supersedes your fear of failure, I think it's a weakness either way, right? Because if you play with the fear of failing, you'll have the pressure on yourself to play, to capitulate to that fear. If you play with the sense of I want to win, then you have the fear of what happens if you don't. But if you find common ground in the middle, in the center, then it doesn't matter. You're unfazed by either, right? And that enables you to really just stay in the moment, stay connected to it, and not feel anything other than what's in front of you. So I try to just be dead center.
So there you have it from the man himself. Now, if you're wondering how you can get yourself exactly into that state or that zone or what it feels like, all you have to do is to remember when you were a kid or a teenager and you were just playing with your friends or with toys or with video games, and just having fun in the present moment, just discovering what's out there, what you're capable of, not worrying about failure and not obsessing either about winning, just doing things and having fun for the sake of it. And paradoxically, this attitude is what allows you to reach your maximum potential and performance level. And it's what can allow you to outperform what you would achieve if you were only running out of negative emotions and external pressures and all that stuff that we just described. So in a way, as mystical and ridiculous as it might sound to some of you, all you truly have to do is to tap into that inner child energy of sheer joy and curiosity and fun and make that the default, the constant in your life. The problem is that you cannot do that if you don't genuinely enjoy the game that you're playing. And because we live in a culture, especially with social media, that has tampered with our preferences so much by being exposed to so many opinions of what is good and what is bad and what we should do and what we should not do. A lot of people are playing games and working on things and living lives that don't truly align with what they deeply desire. They don't even know what they desire. Like, it's been buried for so long that they can just sense something is off, but they don't know exactly what is it. And when you don't know what those genuine desires are and what truly moves you, it's gonna be very difficult, if not even impossible, for these people to get into this zone or this state that we've been discussing throughout this entire video. Now, this opens the door to a very interesting topic that I'm gonna discuss in one of my upcoming videos of how to find out what is your game, what is the game that you should be playing that could unlock your maximum potential and maximum performance while having a blast. So if you want to watch that, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it when I upload it. And one last thing that I want to mention about this whole video, because it's something that I know some of you might be thinking. You might be thinking of some examples of extremely successful people who almost exclusively operate out of deep trauma, and they are at the top of the world in their industry. But that's an irrelevant point because that's not you. And it's not like now you can choose and go buy some trauma so that you can use it as fuel. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Maybe you have some minor trauma or some minor fear, but not a super monumental trauma that could make you move mountains. But that's what some of these top performers have. And if you had it, you would not be watching this video and you would already be working on your goals 24/7. So it is a completely relevant point, and it's not going to help you to be thinking about how these guys are so successful and driven because they have some trauma. How do you replicate that? You cannot do it because that's not how your brain is wired. So it is a waste of time to contemplate this. You have to find what works for you in the long run. So anyways, that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Have a great life. Peace.